What's New with AI, Episode 1. Today we'll just be covering the basics, the intro to AI and generating video. I want to start back at the beginning. So as a refresher to those who already know, or if you're a complete beginner, I'll introduce you to AI. So the whole purpose of Gen AI photos and videos is to generate a photo or a video using AI. Now, if we go back to the beginning, around 2020 is when this first started. It started out with images. You could type a prompt and an image would be generated. In the early days, it was difficult. It was called rolling the dice. It was very difficult to get exactly what you wanted with the image. It was more just a novelty. Oh, look, I can type something. I could type a giraffe that's pink sitting in a swimming pool. It was cool that this actually worked. You can actually type and get an image from it. But it was very hard to get specifically what you wanted, the camera angle and other details. Then later came video. And this is the big thing that's taking over and what's causing the biggest stir in the entertainment world. So originally, video was really bad. It was like a couple of frames of images. It was very choppy. It looked like video from an old cell phone. But then things got better and better. And to where we are today, in June of 2026, the highest quality model is Seance 2.0, which looks almost indistinguishable from real shot footage. So let's go back and let me just break this down for everyone. So if you're new to this and you're wondering, what is this? How do I get involved? If you're interested in making video, making content for the internet, or even a film, maybe entering a contest, this is how generating a video works. In the beginning, the very first iteration was just generating a photo, and then it was generating video, and now we're moved on to advanced versions of generating a video. So today, with the latest tools and technology, when a video is generated, it can be generated in one of three ways. Type a prompt, an explorer is running through a tomb and a dinosaur is chasing him, and boom, a video will be generated from that. You can generate from an image. Take a specific image of a character and a set, put that into the video model, type your prompt, and now the video will be generated from that image. So you'll know exactly what the character looks like, the set, the lighting. And the third way is with an audio file. Put in a prompt. Character, the man says this to the woman, and they're standing on top of the Empire State Building. You input an audio file of a man and woman talking, and the video will be generated to match that audio file. Those are the three main ways to do it. The best technique that I see for this time in June of 2026, it's an actual robust system pipeline that was used in both traditional filmmaking and in animation, and it's been converged for this new AI pipeline. It's not just typing a prompt and getting a video, because if you do that, the next time you type a prompt, it may not match the previous video that you generated. Especially if you're working on a big project, it's going to take days and weeks and even a month or so to generate all the files. So the actual pipeline that we'll go through is very good. It's very efficient. So it breaks down in 6 steps. So the very first step is writing. You want to write your script. Very important that you actually oversee it and not just have AI write it for you, because AI is good at giving a couple of ideas, but the actual process of writing the script and having it laid out and organized AI cannot do as good a job as a human. AI is good for about 20% of the ideas in a script, but 80%, as of right now, 80 still needs to come from a human. So step one, once your script is done, the second step is generating the characters. In traditional filmmaking, you would hire actors. In animation, you would create models of characters. But here what we do is create character sheets, images which show the character, all the details of the characters, all the expressions, and the character from a bunch of different camera angles. And this is essentially like making a 3D model of a character, whether it's an animated character or a real live action human looking character. Once we create character sheets for all our characters, we might have the hero, the villain, the monster, the princess. Once we have all these character sheets created for our characters, next we go ahead and create environment sheets. So we want to create all of the sets. And the reason that we're creating everything is because we want complete control. We don't want any guesswork later on. We don't want the video model to decide later what a set looks like. We want to establish everything right now so that when we generate the videos, we know exactly what we're going to get. We'll create the environments from all angles and all the props used in the movie. That's step 3. Once we're done with that, we're going to start generating images for the movie. Generating images means that we're generating the first frame of each shot. This is really important because this ensures when we generate the video later that the video is generated from the exact image that we have. Take our character sheet images in combination with our set environment images and props, use them all as references to create these first frame images. So if the movie opens up in a wide shot outside of the castle, we'll go ahead and create this first frame. And then for the next image, it might be a close-up of the character looking at the castle. We'll go ahead and create that using our reference images. And another thing I forgot to mention earlier. So what we're doing here is, as you can see, it's all about creating images. And then once the images are created, you're then generating video from those images. Now, what's interesting is to generate images, you're using references every single time. The very first images you're creating are character sheets and environment sheets. Once those are done, you're using those as references to create the first frame. Then, when you generate your video, you're using those same character and environment images as well as the first frame, all of them combined to generate the video. So you're constantly using what you created as a reference to create the next step. And what I didn't mention earlier is that in the prompting part, there's a little middleman, a little middle step, as opposed to just going into your image generator or your video generator and typing in the prompt. We actually go to another app, tell it what we want, and it types the prompt for us. Now it seems a little convoluted. Why do I have to go to another app and then come back to the image and video generator? The reason is because this app called Claude is really good at breaking things down and writing in a way that the image and video generators understand. So I can type something simple like, I want the camera closer and I want it a little more to the right. And Claude will take that and it'll break it down into a paragraph. Be very detailed and specific with its instructions. Move the camera, zoom in, have the camera exactly in this position. And whenever I see Claude's prompts, I always think, man, that was described a lot better than I originally described it. So we go to Claude, then we come back to the video generator. So now we have our character references, our environment sheets, we have our first frames created. We go to Claude, we get our prompt ready for the video. Now we go into the video generator, we throw all of that stuff in there, and we generate the video. Once the video is generated, even with the highest quality model, which is Seance 2.0, it's still there are still some errors. The video is a little choppy. It might only be 720p, might not look the highest quality. So what you've got to do is put it into an upscaler like Topaz, which runs on your computer. You can buy once and own it forever. You just import your video and it exports it at a higher quality, either 1080p or 4K. And now you have your final video. That's the complete pipeline for making AI videos and movies. It primarily breaks down into, you generate an image and then you take that image and put it into a video generator, and a video is made from that image. But it's a very efficient pipeline where there are steps to ensure each part of your video is correct. You get the correct characters, they're consistent, you get the exact sets that you want, you make sure the first frame of every shot is correct, you make sure all your shots look exactly the same continuity-wise. But it's not a hard process. Videos can be generated once you generate your character sheets, your environment sheets, and you start generating your first frames, it'll take a couple of minutes for each. Then you start generating your videos, another few minutes. So you can generate a few videos a day in a couple of hours. That is the breakdown of the basics of generating a video with AI in June of 2026. I'm sure later in a year from now, there might even be a different process. But this has been the process for a while, generating an image and then using the image. It's been like this for a while. So it'll probably still be like this for another year or two. Generating an image is more like using a game engine where you can move around in the engine and then generate photos. But that's the first episode of What's New in AI, and we'll be back next week. See you then.